Is that it? Nope.
Man, this is definitely going to immediately go into the reason why this is potentially one of my lows is I don't know if this is a complete reboot, whether it's an adjacent film or a sequel or a prequel. I don't know. And you'll understand why once we start explaining it, but I just didn't want to say it right now. But you have a Twisters film which is set in the same universe as the original Twister film. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. My initial impression was anger. When I first saw the first trailer for this, I was in a movie theater and I screamed very loud about, no, you're fucking up my childhood. What are you doing? This is some bull crap. I don't like any of these people that are on the screen. I wasn't feeling any of these actors, and the concept just sounded stupid. And I was like, this don't make no sense. You know what I mean? So that was my initial impression. So Miss G, what were your initial impressions upon seeing the trailer?
I'm gonna have to say that it was the same thing. My initial reaction was leave well enough alone. Thank you.
Thank you. This was one of those classics that was like, why are we doing a reboot of this? Like, this literally has this is not one of those type of films that needs to be rebooted. It really is special because of the time period it was made in and the time period it's set in. And we're going to explain more about that in just a second. So Ms. G, if you would be, do me the honors of giving me your highs and lows.
Okay. So my highs, again, are going to be that they definitely brought it to 2024 as far as the graphics, the action, the I'm trying to because I had a lot of lows, and it's gonna sound like I'm a hater, but
you ain't gonna be alone.
Like the graphics and the action.
Gonna be alone. Just do your thing.
The graphics and action were fantastic. Where I had my issue is the low of this film was the high of the first one. You know how you were like, oh, don't do too much, don't explain too much, don't put too much dialogue. I felt like they just did a lot that was unnecessary. And I feel like it made you focus on how not good the acting was. I don't know. It felt like a very, okay, we just had an actor strike, then a writer strike. Hurry up and write this shit. And that is what I did not like about Twisters with an S.
I didn't even think about that. That's all your highs and lows?
Yeah, I kind of want my time back.
I wish I could help you.
I would have been okay with just the 1996. I think, as you said, it's something that was new for that time, and all they did was make the CGI better.
Word. I get where you coming from, and I guess this is a great scoop forward for me to get into my review. You know, I've seen this. I watched it the first time, and I had my feelings about this film. And the feeling was, this is some bullshit. But I was like, me and my homeboy arguing. He like, nah, bro, it ain't that bad. And I'm like, are you sure it's not that bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, yo, it ain't that bad. It's cool. Like, you know, I could see this one more time. And I was like, for real? All right, cool. So we left after having an argument about how I'm like, yo, this ain't really doing it. And my goddaughter calls me. She's like, yo, I want to go to the movie. She chose to see the Twisters. So I said, great. This gives me a second opportunity to see this and see whether or not I was tripping, because I could have been tripping. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you got these beautiful Caucasian-y people. You got great, crazy technology. You know what I mean? You've got new technology. You know, you got Hispanics in this film. shout out to the Hispanics because there weren't any in the previous one, and there are
Right,
no
it's
black
like,
people in
okay.
this one. So I was like, great. You get rid of this is a future where there are no black people in present except for waiter and service jobs. So let's just see if this is going to be great.
I mean, we stay in the house during storms anyway, so it was accurate.
No, you facts. That's big facts. That's big facts. So let me give you my highs. I'm gonna give you my highs. The main male character, he's a hottie. The chiseled, a cowboy, you know what I'm saying, he come out with the white tee that's like skin tight and his chest is jumping and he's got a six-pack and he's walking around and like he looks amazing. Super jealous. Fuck you, you goddamn Greek god looking son of a bitch. You know what I mean? He's awesome. The acting is marginally good. It's great. It's cool. It's not great. It's good. It's just good. Let's see what else. It's shot interestingly. That's not my lows. Got to stay with the highs. I'm sorry. So it was shot pretty good. You know what I mean? I can't complain about the way it was shot. I am going to, but let's just say in general, it was shot cool. It ended, and that was cool. All right, so that was my highs. Okay, so with the lows, let's start with the things that I definitely, in contrast to watching the first one and then going back and watching the second one. The first one, I could see shit. It was very clear where certain elements begin and ended, meaning as far as like the tornadoes, it looked more realistic in the first film. It looked more, it just felt more realistic. This second one, it felt like dusty. It felt like it felt like they didn't have enough time to like run the filter through a couple more times so that we could see what was going on. And I understand you're trying to mimic like real time, like, okay, this is what, a real tornado is like. But in the first one, it was lifting up oil tankers and tossing them around. And you got to see like, but in this film, it's like, so were they not tossing oil tankers and cars around? Because literally people are driving into twisters. The guy is driving into tornadoes and then anchoring himself down and sitting there. So I'm like, so if the twister is, so it kind of, so not only is it visually doesn't work right because it's messy, number one. Number two, it doesn't work because you can't set me up to fear something and then you immediately take away that fear by you taking your main character and throwing it into the middle of things that I'm supposed to fear, and that main character keeps coming out unscathed. And it'd be one thing if he said this glass is bulletproof. If you had told me the glass is bulletproof and this is a titanium shielding that we've put on the truck that can withstand, pounding, and then the guy like took a gun and shot at the windshield and be like, see, we're not gonna get hurt. I'd be like, all right, cool. So now you're driving through a thing with a tank, and I can still fear this, but I can understand what's going on. It would make more sense, but it doesn't. There's so much shit. It doesn't make sense. They set up certain expectations, and then you break them in the same sentence. Those are graphic things, and those are just some kind of like random stuff.
Again, definitely a rush job.
This is where I really get upset. Shout out to my Spanish people. But you put this nice young Spanish guy on screen and you made him look respectable. You turned him into an entrepreneur. You gave him nice clothes. Beautiful story arc is coming from a young kid to a grown man and wanting to do good. And then you tried to make him the fucking bad guy. Like, and the thing is, you did a shit job. You did a shit job making him the bad guy with a redemption story. Because first of all, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Y'all keep throwing you get the milky white girl to come out here like she innocent, and then you turn a minority into Darth Vader. And like, nah, that's some bullshit. So first of all, y'all need to stop doing that. Because first of all, the whole reason why this film is jacked up is because of the white girl. Let's talk about that. The white girl got niggas killed. Like, I forgot. I'm giving away too much information. But the reason why I'm saying this ain't working, The young man started a business to help people. They find out some information about that business, and people was like, "You ripping niggas off," but he really not. I'm gonna try not to go into grave detail, but what I will say is, if I'm living in Middle America and I'm living on the borderline, meaning that I don't really have bread like that. If my house gets hit by a tornado, most of the time, unless I'm paying some crazy insurance money, I'm lost. The house is gone. I don't even have a way to clean this shit up. And they offered them a situation out of that, and then they tried to make the Spanish guy the bad guy for doing that. And I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? And then he's being, because this is how Caucasian America do, and I'm glad you white people are now showing y'all bullshit, is that this man is apologizing to this girl for like being a real man and really helping people because it hurt her little feelings. Get out of here. I ain't with none of that. Y'all pissing me off. That film pissed me off. When there was a critical, there was supposed to be like a story turn, and I was just like, this is goofy. The next thing is, of course the girl is going to fall in love with the rugged country guy. But why? Even though he's trying to point the finger at the other dude and say, yo, he's a crappy guy. He's making money off a tragedy. I'm like, when he said that, do you know how loud I screamed in the theater? I said, bitch, you got a YouTube channel. Tornadoes. What are you talking about? Like, you are literally profiting off of tragedy. What this? I'm like, and then they're like, the makeup for it is, and I swear to God, I hate I'm giving away the story, but I don't give a fuck at this point. I'm done. I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm sorry. Y'all motherfuckers put a table out with coffee, donuts, and sandwiches and said, we're helping people. Bitch, I just lost my home. One person is offering me cash. Another nigga offering me a sandwich. Who the fuck do you think is me out more? Fuck that. Later. Thank you. I can take this cash and get my own something to eat. So anyway, at the end of the storyline, I'm sorry. This movie, and I'm thank you, Ms. G. I didn't even think about the fact that there was a writer's strike and there was all these elements here, because the continuity as far as the storyline is fucked up. The purpose for, there's so many things that could have been done way better. Simple little things that could have been said or done to explain some of the motivations behind the characters, to explain why things, like, you could have done a better job at clearly defining a bad guy in a real bad guy space. This was very convoluted. And this is another film that turns kids into thinking, here's another movie that tells young girls, don't go and settle with the guy that, suffered a tragedy with you. He was in the trenches with you. He suffered a tragedy with you. You went on to go to New York and be and live. So I know you getting bread. He went to the fucking military, came out of the military, started a business helping his own community that you ran away from. Number 3, he came out looking better than he did when he went in. So he kind of and then believed in you enough to put a fucking paycheck in your pocket and fly you back out to where you came from and help you save your own people. But no, you don't want to fuck him. You want to go fuck this old dusty ass cowboy nigga. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that nigga fine as shit. I ain't gonna lie. He a fine ass nigga. But this dusty, dirty ass nigga ain't doing nothing, but has the audacity to have an ego about somebody that is really doing something on a scientific level. Oh, besides the fact that this chiseled cowboy nigga is literally educated too, but instead of using his education, he decided to start a YouTube channel. Yeah, that's the guy whose dick you say suck. That's it.
That YouTuber.
Out of here.
Can I tell you I just want to know if that line made you cringe as hard as I did. And he was like, oh, with you and your little science project, were you like, oh my God, oh
my, for real? You are you getting smart with me, guy with a truck that shoots rockets, fireworks, dog? And you're a grown ass man.
I've never wanted to swing at my screen so badly.
I was like, what? And I'm sorry, Eddie. I know Eddie will be mad as shit. He's like, damn, you spoiled this whole goddamn movie. I'm sorry, Ed. I'm sorry, but this was atrocious. And this was so, as a man that has education, I'm like, oh, I wondering why I can't get married. Oh, because you keep making films like this. Keep running after dirty, dingy, no good ass piece of shit niggas. And yo, the Mexican literally got invest. Do you know how hard it is to start a business and get investors to invest into it, and investors that were kind of in the same kind of like circle of field that you're in to fully fund? He wasn't there with no. Look, let me tell y'all something. This little Spanish dude wasn't riding around in secondhand vehicles. He had brand new trucks. He had state-of-the-art technology. He said, I got niggas from Nassau, MIT, Harvard. Nigga, he's got the best of the best. Do you know how much those dudes cost? He's got 40-50 million dollars in investment money. But no, you don't want to tell him. You want to holler at him.
I'm like, let's not forget this. Another handicap is you got to remember that's all Republican country out there. So Hispanic dudes, getting his education and pulling him, he pulled himself up by the bootstraps. I hate that phrase so much. But he literally did so much legwork beyond just having an education. And here comes that dude with a tight ass white shirt to save the day. Like, get the fuck.
Facts. So, all right, it's time to let's put out. We've literally trashed this movie as much as we could. Let us rate this movie. Is it a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it a catch on streaming? Is it not doing it for me? Is it a hell no? Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. You, Miss G. The floor is yours.
I was borderline on catch it on streaming, and it's not doing it for me, but it's just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. As somebody who was there for the 96 point, it's not doing it for me. And I feel like this was oh shit, we were supposed to make another one. Quick, the deadline's tomorrow. Like it just gave y'all could have kept this.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
With good graphics.
I would like to say, and I'm so glad I could do this because I don't get to do this often. But for me, this is a hell to the nah. I saw it, and just in case, I saw it twice just to make sure I knew that what I was saying was right. I wanted to be right. I wanted to be 100. And that, let me tell you, even worse, when I came out of the movie theater, the white couple in front of me, 6'3" white dude and his short little wife, they come out there laughing. They said, what did we just watch? And then I was like, and then she turned around and she was like, this movie was so silly. And I was just like, yeah, I said, I like the original way more. Man, that big tall white dude said, man, I was thinking the same exact thing. I was like, and we talked and laughed on our way out the theater about how much this movie was useless. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe for the younger generations, they might appreciate it more. But me as an elder millennial and probably the younger Gen Xers are going to give this a keep that.
Yeah, keep that.
Iris in the comments said, in the private chat said, so I ain't missed nothing, huh? Girl,
you ain't miss a damn thing. All right.
I can tell. Just sitting in the background, just cracking up.
It wasn't. When you do something so innovative the first time, even if it's not the very best, it's just certain stuff you don't touch again. And they tried, and
they really shit the bed on this one. Like, and they had all the right elements. And if I'm sorry, Ed, you gonna kill me. Hold on, Miss G. Why the fuck did they use Dorothy again? Why?
I think that was just I don't throw something in there from the last. I don't know.
Because they said this movie was supposed to be a sequel standalone, but that there were supposed to be like little nods to the original, And the thing is, basically, it's just the same work that for the same like line of people. And
Yeah.
of course, if that's the equipment that was created, it's supposed to be just an upgraded version of Dorothy.
So there were ample opportunities for them to put a picture in the background of Bill Paxton, and they could have there's so many ways they could have connected the original story to this story. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain
Right.
scene in a family structure where that even in it could have been just some, hey, we picked up, but they literally was like, oh yeah, Dorothy, we about to use Dorothy, and then there's no, like, they never say where they get it from, they never
Right.
say how they learn to use it, and it was really crowbarred in. It was super crowbarred in, and because if this is supposed to be a successor to the original, give us something to where it makes sense, or don't use Dorothy at all.
Right.
Like, don't use it at all. You could, or if give me something similar in the making, but call it Rachel or call it Judy or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then give it its own original look to it. But they literally took the original prop from the original film and used this film.
Oh, really?
And like,
Damn.
Yeah, the
like,
same
Even say, at
device.
least give a nod, be like, oh, the original's back, blah 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 blah. They created the Dorothy. This is our
right,
enhanced version, blah blah blah.
right,
It
right.
gives us more data on this.
I would have
Damn,
loved that.
we need
Or
to
it could have
rewrite
been,
this. We need to call them and be like, hey, fuck this movie. We're gonna redo this. We got a better idea.
yeah, they could have just been like, yo, this was my uncle's machine. It was left in the garage. I found it. It fueled my fascination for wanting to be. They didn't do any of that.
They did
They
none of
just
that.
man, they came up with that corny little story about that girl becoming a tornado chaser, and that was the stupidest shit I ever heard. Oh, she was buck naked and ran out into the field. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That was
That was
very
dumb.
weird.
That was
I
literally
feel
their
like
explanation.
I feel like it was a failed attempt. You know how when people do sequels or they do like a reimagined version of the first where they're trying to make it a standalone where the younger people see it, and they enjoy it as a standalone film, but the older people see it and they see it in a different light because we were there for the first one. They tried to do that and it just pissed us that were there for the 1996 version off. Like you said, there was no explanation
Sounds like it.
to any of the things where they tried to.
Nope.
I can't even say they tied anything in. They just threw it in.
Nope.
It wasn't tied.
They just
in. That's
literally
why we're
threw
so
it in there. It was like somebody saw it in the back of an office and was like, yo, I didn't know we still had this. Yo, put it on the set. Like, let's put it in the film.
It was like, y'all remember this shit?
Yeah.
Like,
that shit was dumb, bro. Stupid. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. Miss G, you are Trey perfection. I love your reviews. I love your original perspective. Iris, you are so gorgeous. It's so wonderful to have you back so I can get your unique, aggressive New York perspective. So that being said, we getting up out of here, people. We got lives of our own to live.